We have the Kneecap manager back again, Daniel Lambert, addressing the manufactured outrage following the band's comments, of course, the F Israel, Free Palestine comments. It absolutely blew up. They got their USA tour cancelled. Then he went on the RT1 and tried to defend their comments where they apologized publicly, talking about how up Hezbollah, up Hamas, which they're absolutely insane comments because, like I said before, Hezbollah actually killed in Lebanon one of our own Irish soldiers. Okay, he was shot in the truck. Absolutely super sad to see that, guys. The Irish army is a peacekeeping army. We're a very peaceful army, very peaceful country. Okay, but it's unfortunate to see that, guys. And yeah, News Talk Radio, of course, are the most liberal news station in Ireland. It's going to be incredible to see how the Kneecap manager is going to somehow defend the message that they put out. But I'm here for it, guys. I want to hear what they're saying. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let's hear it.
The controversy surrounding Irish rap group Kneecap continues to roll on as the Metropolitan Police's counter-terror officers are investigating online videos of the band. These are videos that surfaced on social media showing the band calling for the death of British MPs and shouting, "Up Hamas, up Hezbollah." The investigation comes as a number of musicians, including Massive Attack and Christy Moore, have been defending the Belfast rappers and signing an open letter of support. For more, I'm joined in studio by Kneecap's manager, Daniel Lambert. Daniel, one of the things that you and the band more broadly have been saying is that these videos and these statements have been taken out of context. What is the context? If we take the first one of the only good Tory is a dead Tory and murder your MP or kill your MP, what's the context that changes that?
See, right off the bat, first question, super, loaded question. Just, this guy here that runs News Talk, complete propaganda. I mean, they are literally an arm of the government, guys. They are the most liberal newspaper in the country, and that's saying something. Joe.ie, flipping News Talk, Irish Times, all the Irish Independent, all these newspapers. Incidentally, the Irish Independent is the least independent newspaper ever, guys. But let's hear what he says.
Well, it's important to point out a few things. I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak with you today, and it'll be a slightly longer interview than I've done. And thanks for having me in. On the band's website, and the website hasn't changed, it's been the same for quite a long time, it describes Kneecap as a band with socially conscious lyrics that mix the satirical with reality and absurdity. And I suppose that can be seen in everything Kneecap have done, from the very fact that they choose to use stage names, the very fact that they call themselves kind of, quite silly stage names, and that DJ Provi, Mokara, and they're done in that they're playing a role and playing a character. And I'm glad you've brought that one up first. There are so many examples. And I can give you some of them. And so some of the more absurd ones, Bob Marley didn't shoot the sheriff. John Lennon didn't think he was a walrus. Freddie Mercury didn't kill a man. But much more importantly than that, there are some quite specific ones. Last year, it was reported that Frank Hester, who was the largest donator to the Conservative Party, he said, and reported by The Guardian, and I'll quote it, that MP Diane Abbott, speaking about an MP, looking at Abbott would make you want to hate all black women, and she should be shot.
So Daniel, with all due respect, would you mind answering the question? What's the context for that statement?
No, Daniel actually answered the question quite well, yeah. A lot of the artists, even me on the internet, guys, County Gaines, that's just a name I gave myself. County like, Ireland, County Dublin, County Cork, and then Gaines, like a fitness type of thing. It's like an alter ego. As soon as I hop on these videos, I'm maybe like an alter ego. But not really, because everything I say, I believe, okay, and I believe what I say. So, when he's saying that they're doing some sort of Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers sort of back and forth, he has 3 or 4 different split personalities like D12, there's 6 members with 2 different personalities split. That sort of doesn't really work too much in that context, but I get it. He's trying to say that they're being more satirical and crazy. Okay?
The only good Tory is
have
a dead Tory, kill your local MP.
Okay, we have Frank Hester, who called for the shooting of an MP, and Kemi Badenoch's response to that.
Can you just explain the context of the statement that your band made?
I need to give you a reference point.
No, you don't. You need to, if you would, explain the context of that statement.
I absolutely hate this guy, guys. I would love to come on News Talk and just roast all these presenters. They're just absolute dweebs, absolute nerds, guys. They've never fought anything in their life. They've never had a fight in their life. They've never done anything hard in their life. They're just losers through and through, guys. They're just getting paid money, and they think that gives them some kind of status. You know what I mean? It doesn't at all. They're just loser men.
The context of the statement is that it was taken entirely out of a performance by 3 characters. Before that, the bits that cut, they spoke about a Tory government and an absolute lack of support for the north of Ireland and a mental health crisis. To take those words and print them as they're said. Do you know that there was a guy last year, Finn Taylor, and he said, and if you took this quote, he said that what you should do next year is bomb Glastonbury. If you print that as a headline out of context from what the guy was saying, he's a comedian, it appears like he's appealing for mass murder. This is an absolutely manufactured level of outrage.
So they said...
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, the same thing that's happening to Kneecap is the same exact thing that happened to Andrew Tate, guys. It's this sort of slander campaign that the EU and mainly the UK and the US, the head officials, we don't really know who they are. They're like a shadowy group of people. Okay, just being honest, guys. What they do is they put out en masse this slander campaign. Like overnight, everyone hated Andrew Tate. Overnight, everybody hated McGregor because they're getting too powerful. They're influencing the youth too much. Same as Kneecap. They're starting to get to that next level, and then they start hating on a certain country, and then they just get slammed, which I don't agree with, guys. I don't agree saying F any country. I don't, guys. But you know what side, you know, I've spoken openly tons of times on YouTube, you know, about it, guys. I've made thousands of videos. I'm actually the biggest reaction channel in Ireland to any of the stuff overseas in the Middle East. Okay, so don't come at me with that bullshit, okay? But the thing is, guys, you shouldn't be saying that about any country because there's bad people in certain groups and there's good people in certain groups. You can't just label everybody as bad. That's not how we do things as professionals, guys.
Was a mental health crisis in Northern Ireland, and as a function of that, said the statement, the only good Tory is a dead Tory.
It came from
kill your
a
local
comment
MP.
from the audience, shouted up F the Tories in the broader clip. It was entirely taken out of context. Look, hundreds of thousands of people have been to see Kneecap gigs. There is no mood of hatred. There is nobody asking for anybody to be killed at a Kneecap gig. I can give you loads more examples.
I'm still trying to understand how that statement is justifiable by the context.
If you don't try and shut me down on this, John McDonnell MP, right? He said of the employment minister, and these are MPs in England. He said, "Why are we sacking her? Why aren't we lynching her?"
This is a list of other people who may or may not have said reprehensible things. I'm just asking you about your own...
What the hell? They absolutely said that. It's not may or may not have said reprehensible things. They've 100% said crazy stuff. You know, stuff slides, guys. You know, I'm not defending Kneecap. You know, their comments were insane. You know, up Hezbollah, like, it's crazy. But what they mean is just they just want to fight back against the movement, guys. You know, it's more of a nuanced topic, you know, that these idiot presenters don't understand, but they really do deep down know what's going on, but they just choose to be the arm of the government, you know, and go against the people.
It's about context.
Yeah, and I've said
what is it that makes the sentiment, the only good Tory is a dead Tory, kill your local MP, how does it become acceptable by prefacing it by a statement about mental health in our line? That's all I'm seeking to find out.
They use stage names during a performance in front of thousands of people. The examples I've given you were said by actual MPs about other MPs. It's not a performance. How could you equate this to be greater than these examples?
I didn't. I'm asking how the context negates the sentiment.
The context is that they're a performing rap group. I'll tell you something about Kneecap that hasn't been brought up, and I'm sure that the people who've scraped the videos, you said the videos surfaced. They were gone after specifically. Everything was gone through, and the band have hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of footage. Something that's said regularly by the band, and it hasn't been reported on, is they say in the context of the housing crisis, you should take your local landlord, put him in a bin, and throw him in a river. Now, is that appealing for landlords to be killed? It's part of the context of a performance, and it's been taken entirely out of context, and people know that.
But sorry,
that's a free speech issue as well. They're just trying to limit free speech. These woke left Marxist, you know, communist people, they're trying to limit free speech always. You know, you're not going to be able to say boo to a goose without going to jail now. I mean, this is the level of absurdity that we're going to get to, guys. Trust me.
Again, that I'm not quite getting here is, you're saying it is out of context. That means that the thing that makes it permissible or that makes it acceptable is the context.
The context.
What's the context that changes the sentiment expressed?
Of a performance.
Why then did you apologise for it? Did the band apologise?
The band apologised because a family came out and said that they were hurt. And if a family says they were hurt and they're people that felt hurt, then I think it's right to apologise to somebody.
Really well. This guy is a great speaker. You know, shout out to Daniel Lambert, man. Great PR. Great PR. Okay, you need that when people are crazy. I need a PR agent. Anyone wants to become my PR agent, just hit me up, guys. Okay, County Gains on Instagram. But check it out. You know, when he said, like, when people are insulted, I get that, guys. Like, I'm not going to be apologizing for every single thing. But if someone was to come to me and say, Chris, I don't really like that, you know, could you, like, you know, do so? I don't know what I apologize now, but I would say, okay, well, I'm not going to say that again. Or something like that. Like, I don't use racial slurs ever, okay? I've never used them in my life, okay? I don't use like bad, insulting terms for people. I call them nerds and Poindexters. That's fair enough. That's just poking fun. But if someone's actually genuinely getting hurt and you're bullying them or something like that, you're hating on a group of people. That's obviously not good, guys. Don't be an asshole in life. But we do need free speech. So.
But do you believe the statement was wrong?
The statement was taken out of context. Whether it was right or wrong, there's lyrics of multiple songs that talk about, like, there's far worse lyrics. Paul Heaton has a lyric that talks about killing people with an AK-47. I think it's the Queen. Jesus. Nobody goes and asks these people to apologise to the royal family. It's part of a performance. And this was taken entirely. There's laughter from the audience to somehow suggest that was a call made from a stage to elicit violence is ludicrously extreme.
Yeah. But why would you not say that then to, for instance, Katie Amos?
To be honest, Anton, we are here and we're doing exactly what this whole kind of manufactured outrage has been set up to do. We are into now day 8 of speaking about Kneecap. We're 62 days into a siege of Gaza. There are babies that are born and dying within hours, and you're talking to me about the context of something when I can give you specific examples of actual MPs who called for deaths of other MPs.
So when Katie Amos raised her concerns, given that her father had been Tory MP David Amos had been killed, you apologised to her, but as I understand it, the band's apology was for her taking offence, not for there being anything wrong in what was said. Is that right?
Absolutely not. It was unequivocal statement and said that they deeply regretted any hurt caused. And that's an absolute genuine apology.
Yeah.
But why not then explain to her that context rendered it moot?
Because if you go into explaining context, then you're distracting from a person's hurt. You have to accept that they felt hurt, and I feel that would be not realistic and not reasonable to say to somebody. You've got to respect where they're coming from and their own hurt. Trying to explain it was out of context to them, to me, is unfair. I can explain it to you. This idea that Kneecap, as a band with their, like, we're talking about gigs with tens of thousands of people. Do you really think that the aim of Kneecap is to go on and elicit violence? It's ludicrous.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this, guys, and I might just even leave it there, but I want to see what this loser on the left has to say. But he, this sort of idea that people are, anything they say in their lyrics, they actually mean it. Sure, Eminem got this years ago. He came out with saying crazy stuff. All these rappers, and they say crazy shit. It's not that people actually think that they're gonna go do that stuff that they say or trying to influence people. I listen to rap music my whole life. I've never committed crime ever. I use the music to hit the gym. It's the context that you use it in. It's like a gun. You can use it to protect yourself, or you can use it to go and harm people. Or it's like, something, it's like a defensive versus offensive. So I think that a lot of these performances are just so, fictional. I wouldn't listen to any of these people, really. Even if they were to say crazy shit on stage, it doesn't matter. Like, look at the stuff that Kanye West is saying now. He's just completely lost his rocker. He's wearing a flipping swastika t-shirt, just completely crazy. And I don't listen to it at all, guys. I don't even care. I'm like, whatever, let this guy do whatever. He's just crackpot. So
that's what Katie Amos had to say subsequent to the apology.
The police need to do a full investigation and find out why they said it, if anybody is now planning on acting on it, how many people they said it to. It needs to go through the court system, the justice system, because it is a crime. So the reason that people are now considering cancelling their concert is because they don't know what they're going to get up on stage and say. And if you're going to get up and say such dangerous, violent stuff, then who knows if somebody is going to act on it or not. So that's why people are now questioning. And it's just a terrible situation to be in. This isn't a joke, it's not a game. This has happened to real people. Real people have lost their lives in the most terrible, awful way imaginable. So
yeah,
when you say something,
I'm gonna skip this idiot. She just is talking nonsense, lads. You know what I mean?
With the apology.
Yeah, Mr. Anton, we've offered and we're happy to, and we said back to some of the media, no one's contacted. The lads are happy to talk to that lady. The lads are happy to meet with that lady. The lads are happy to apologise to that lady. You know what? Actually, Kneecap have not hurt anybody. There was a hurt here that was caused to somebody emotionally. As I said to you, why has all of this emerged? You've got to focus on this.
Yes.
Why this has emerged. And I've said this on several radio shows
yes.
already.
I want to get to this, guys. He's asking now, why has this emerged? This is for a reason. This is constructed, guys. It's manufactured. You understand? Same thing they do to McGregor when he runs for president. He wants to get too big and he's not agreeing with the same agenda as everybody else. So they have to just massively put a campaign in place to get rid of his name, tarnish his name, destroy him. 100%. Same thing happened to Andrew Tate. Same thing happened to Russell Brand. As soon as Russell Brand turned from left wing, where the media and everyone aligns, and then went more right wing, conservative, immediately he got hit with like 15 sexual assault charges. I mean, Guys, this is constructed. You have to start to be more switched on, people. Please, Ireland, wake up, man. I can't keep preaching this message.
On this, why this has emerged, and I've said this on several radio shows.
Come on, give it to us.
Kneecap went to Coachella, and Kneecap said at Coachella, facts about what are happening. It was mislabeled and misrepresented by Sharon Osbourne as they went there, and I think she called it hate speech. There was no hate speech at Coachella. The lads went over there, and they went to a place, and you know what happened as a response? All of this. And the reason for it is that what the lads did over there was they demonstrated their work.
I'll be honest, I don't really agree with what they said, but I'm just saying they use that as a contextual. You know, you shouldn't be saying F any country, personally, you know. It's more of a individual people or government, you know.
To the people at Coachella, that the young people of America do not want to be complicit in genocide, that they have empathy and sympathy for the Palestinian people, and they're not willing to accept. We are now 62 days into a siege, and you've played for me a quote. If I can just play a quote for you. Jonathan Whitall, who's the UNOCHA director, said yesterday, what is happening in Gaza defies decency, it defies humanity, it defies law. It is an assault without limits. Nowhere and no one is safe, and that people are telling him they want to die with their family. Their worst fear is to survive alone.
It's awful.
Why are we not speaking about that?
It's awful.
Well, this radio station, this program, my program, have spoken at length about the issues in Gaza. The reason we're speaking to you is because you're the manager
It's not.
of
It's
Kneecap,
getting worse.
and you are involved
It is getting
in
worse.
a fairly significant public
It-
backlash to comments made about
This guy is such a smug bastard, man. I'd love to come on and just roast this fool.
Driven.
Orientees
This is being driven.
and about support for Hamas. As to the latter, what about the sentiments of Up Hamas and Up Hezbollah?
Once again, the lads are saying during a performance, they have stated very, very, very clearly in the statement, if you go back to the statement, that they do not support Hezbollah or Hamas. Now,
Yeah, there you go, guys. We'll leave it there. Nobody supports anyone. You know, don't know exactly what they were trying to say when they actually said those messages. I think the messages were a bit crazy, a bit wild, but you know, people in their lifetime say dumb shit that they regret all the time. So, you know, I'm not just going to be tarnishing people, but it's definitely not good to be hating on a country. You know, it's more of a government and individuals. Okay, you shouldn't be hating a whole swathe of people. That's awful. So, let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want me to keep being funded and pushing back against the mainstream, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today. It's only like a €5 per month or €4 per month. Really helps support me. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.